Today we are discussing about congenital clubfoot. So this is a portion which is coming under the ortho unit. So this congenital clubfoot, this is not a common disorder. So let's see regarding what is this congenital clubfoot and what are the types and how we can manage this condition. Okay, so let's see the definition of this clubfoot. So congenital clubfoot is a complex deformity of the ankle as well as the foot. Okay, so here varieties of classifications are there, and these classifications are mainly given on the basis of the position of the ankle and foot. And the different varieties of this congenital clubfoot, which include the forefoot adduction, then supination of the midfoot, then hindfoot varus and the ankle equinus. So based upon the position of the ankle and foot, each classification name is given to the congenital clubfoot. Okay, let's see the incidence of this clubfoot. So as the name indicating, this is a congenital birth defect. Okay, so this is usually occurring in the general population, that is 1 to 2 per thousand live birth. And it is believed that the boys are affecting twice than that of the girl, and the male to female ratio is 2.5 to 1. And in some cases, in 50% of the cases, usually we can see the bilateral clubfoot, which means both the extremities, both the lower extremities are affected. So regarding the etiology of the congenital clubfoot, so the exact cause is not known, and it is believed that these congenital clubfoots are usually developing in the early pregnancy, that which means in the 10 to 12th weeks of gestation this is happening. And it is believed that these congenital clubfoots are usually developing because of the intrauterine positioning of the fetus, or sometimes due to the restricted movement of the fetus inside the uterine cavity. In certain situations like a multiple pregnancy, there will be multiple fetuses inside the uterine cavity. So there will be a less space for the fetuses to occupy inside the uterine cavity. So this is also considered as one of the major reason for the development of these congenital clubfoot. So these arrested development can lead to major kind of deformities in the foot. Okay. So now we'll see regarding the classification of this congenital clubfoot. So there are some major classification. In that, first one is the positional clubfoot. This positional clubfoot is also known as mild or postural clubfoot. So this is usually believed that this positional clubfoot is usually happening because of the intrauterine crowding, or because of the less space inside the uterine cavity. And this is the simple form of clubfoot, and which can be manipulated by simple stretching as well as the casting, which can be given to the child after the birth. Okay, and the second one is syndromic clubfoot. So as the name indicating, so this is little bit complicated one, and these syndromic clubfoots are usually developing following any neuro problems like meningocele, myelomeningocele, where they will be the or outpouching of the meningeal cavity through the defect happening in the spinal canal. So because of these disease condition, if the child is developing any kind of deformities in their leg, that is known as syndromic clubfoot. And these syndromic clubfoot will be little bit difficult to manage, because here the underlying reason is something else. So we need to manage that. Then only we can manage these kind of clubfoot. And the third one is congenital clubfoot, and this congenital clubfoot is idiopathic. We don't know the exact reason, and this can be happen to a normal child also. Okay, understand? So these are the three classification: positional clubfoot, syndromic clubfoot, and congenital clubfoot. And this congenital clubfoot is further classified into again classification. We'll see regarding that. So first one is the Talipes varus. So this is the most common form of clubfoot we can see. So here the foot is generally turns inward. So you can see in the image here, the foot is generally turned inward so that the leg and foot look somewhat like the letter of a J. Understand? So here the leg is turned inward. So that is known as Talipes varus. Next one is Talipes valgus. So here the foot is rotating outward. So here you can see in the image, the foot is rotating outward like an English letter L. Okay, understand? And the third one, Talipes equinus. So this here, the foot will be pointing downward, similar to that of a toe dancer. So how the Sufis and all they used to dance, the same way here the foot is pointing downward. And in Talipes calcaneus, here the foot will be pointing upward and the heel will be pointing downward. Okay, so these all are the four classification. So I hope you got an idea regarding this. Now, coming to the diagnostic method, how the condition is diagnosed. So, here it is very easy to diagnose this clubfoot because this can be diagnosed at the time of birth itself by the physician. So, immediately after the birth, by the inspection of the physician itself, the disease can be diagnosed. And apart from that, history is collected regarding any multiple history and all. Then, regarding the positioning and posture of the mother during the time of pregnancy can be collected, and a physical examination can be carried out. In the physical examination, the different varieties of this clubfoot can be identified. And in the prenatal ultrasonography, anomaly scan can be done at the month of 5 and 6. During that time also, the intrauterine positioning of the child can be identified, and if any associated clubfoot can be diagnosed. Okay. Coming to the therapeutic management. So here, the major goal of treatment of clubfoot is to achieve a painless and a stable foot. So here the child may be having problems with walking. At the same time, he may be having the complaints of pain also. So here the major aim is to reduce the pain and to achieve a stable foot. So usually the management is done in three stages. First one is regarding the correction of deformity, and second one, maintenance of the correction until the normal muscle balance is regained. So once the correction is corrected, the muscles also has to do the management. So that has to be achieved. And third position is the follow-upping and observing the child for any recurrence of the deformity. So this is usually carried out in three stages. Okay, and usually extremity casting is done. So here the affected extremity or both the lower extremities are given inside the cast. So usually this is done 8 to 12 weeks. Okay, so this continues keeping for this cast leg in the cast, which will provide enough time for the ligaments to relax and the bone to grow, and this will be leading to a corrected position. Okay, sometime this lengthening of the cord will be uh, what it will be in a very good way, and thus only the cast is required for the management. Okay, so that is known as extremity casting. Okay, so imagine that the extremity casting is not effective, then usually the physician will prefer for a Dennis Brown splint. So this is a medical device. This is mainly used for the treatment of a clubfoot. So this is used as a part of a non-surgical method where the family doesn't want to conduct any surgeries upon the child. They can prefer the Dennis Brown splint. So here, major peculiarity of this Dennis Brown splint is, so it consists of two boots with an open toe. Okay, so and which is made up of a delicate leather, so that it will provide maximum softness to the baby's foot. Okay, understand? So casting can be done, and casting also, if the problem is not getting solved, the parents or the physician can suggest Dennis Brown splint. So this is a non-surgical method for the management of clubfoot. Coming to the surgical management. So surgical procedure also performed if the medical management fails or the devices couldn't make the correction. So here the surgery usually performed is percutaneous transverse Achilles tendon lengthening. Okay, so usually the procedure is done in an operating room under general anesthesia, and usually it will take around 15 minutes to complete the procedure. So here a small incision is made in the skin just above the heel bone, and Achilles tendon is found. Then a small cut is given to the tendon for the tendon itself to stretch and relax. Okay, so this will lengthen and this will be leading to stretching and keep the ligament in the foot in the correct position. Okay, the next one, by lengthening the heel cord. Okay, so heel ligament also we can lengthen, so that is also usually performed. So after the procedure, the infant has to be placed back to the cast again for 2 to 3 weeks. So following the surgery also, the child has to be placed in the extremity casting. Okay, and following the extremity casting, again the child can go for any special shoes or any braces like Dennis Brown splint, etc. Okay, so sometimes, that is rarely, some children they need more surgical manipulation and surgical correction, and this will be based upon the need. Okay, so they will see whether the surgery is successful one, and if the surgery is not success, and again the child is developing the clubfoot symptoms, again they, according to the need of the child, the surgeon will plan for the surgery. So coming to the nursing management. So Nursing management is very important because caste management, because the child may be in caste, so that has to be controlled by the nurse. So the casted extremity has to be elevated upon the pillows. Then the nurse has to observe the extremities like the fingers and toes where the cast is applied for an evidence for swelling like discoloration, etc. Because swelling and discoloration which indicate that the extremity is not getting adequate amount of blood supply. So the nurse has to monitor that. Then check the movement and sensation of the extremity. So even though the extremities are casted, the periphery like the fingers, fingertips and has to be monitored for the movement. Then follow the physician's order for regarding any restriction of activities. Then strenuous activity has to be restricted for the first few days. Okay. Then frequent rest also needed for the child. Then the injured extremity has to be elevated. Then avoid following the affected limb to hang upon a dependent position because this can cause swelling. Then sometimes small children they will be inserting something inside the cast, so that has to be monitored. The small things like their color pencils, crayons, everything has to be kept away from the child. Okay, then like hazardous toys, then their pet animals, everything has to be restricted for the child until they are recovering from their surgical procedures. Okay, so these are the common nursing management the nurse has to follow while the following the surgery. The same time, family education has to be given, the adequate food, fluid, and rest has to be given to the child. Okay, so these are regarding congenital club food. So I think you got an idea regarding what is congenital club food and how we can manage this condition. Okay, thank you.